What's up? A little bit of a shorter product video today. We got a few of these new secret layers. I'm just gonna pop them open and see what kind of secret card we get. All right. This past drop had some neat ones, some not so neat ones. A lot of really cool artwork, but a lot of secret layers that were like, not, unless you just really dug the artwork, the secret layer really wasn't worth it. Versus the next one that's coming out that apparently is going to be an absolute rock star of a drop. Looks nuts. Even the ones that are lesser in value are so cool that it's just like, okay, well, I'm getting that. So the next one's going to be expensive. But anyway, I'm just going to pop these open. I want to have a small conversation about something at the end. So you can turn off the video, because I know some people absolutely hate that stuff. But it's my channel, and I feel like talking about it, I want to. All right, so what is this one? This is the bugs one, right? Yeah, bugging out. So I did get the foil. So this is one of the super drop options they had, because they knew which ones that they're smart. Like literally, that one's like, yeah, two of those are the ones I literally wanted, and then the other one is the other one I'm okay with. I really liked the baseball one, but admittedly, if I can't ever see myself playing with the cards, I don't want it. In none of those planeswalkers I'm ever going to slot into a deck. So I think they were a really cool design. I really enjoyed it, especially as a guy who grew up collecting baseball cards. So I really enjoyed it. But when I buy a secret layer, especially since, $30 to $40, depending on foil or non-foil, I want it to at least be cards I would at some point may slot into a deck. Like this one. Like right off the bat, this is one of the cards that I did in fact want a neat copy of. Although, yeah, that's every bit as hard to read as I thought it might be. But it's really cool looking. It's Eldritch Evolution. That is cool looking though. Hey, these are straight. Yeah, look at that. I'm going to sleep them up immediately afterwards. The Giant Ataphage. Another card I personally do in fact play with. So it's kind of cool to get a neat copy of this. I already play with this card. In fact, I kind of needed another copy anyway for a different deck. Noxious Revival. Always a good card. That's a really cool treatment. I have to say, these are so neat. And Grist the Hunger Tide. A card I've thought about adding to decks 1,000 times and still haven't yet. Well, that is the coolest. And that one actually is mostly legible. Like for a Planeswalker, which are usually complicated, that one's actually not that hard to read. Yeah, that's cool. All right. Good design there. We got Mazarek, Crawl, Death Priest. There's a solid card. I do also have this in a particular deck, so I might swap that one out with this one. And is there a secret card? That's right, we're back to the slivers. We got Magma Sliver. Okay. I hope I get something different than a sliver, but something tells me that I won't. All right. I'm going to do that one last, actually. That one, I thought that was the coolest one. I think everybody thought that was the coolest one. This is the one that immediately had the best value. So this is the, now on VHS? Yeah. Very reminiscent of going to a local video store in the 80s and 90s. Some people will never get to understand that thrill. And then you get to rent a video game. That's right, you get to rent a video game. All right, we had Rewind. That's cool. Yeah, not a card I probably will ever really play with, but like even down in the corners, like the wear on the box, that's so cool. 50% upcharge if tape is not rewound. That's a thing. That's a thing. And if your family had some money, you bought a VHS tape rewinder, like a specific gadget to rewind your tape. God. Oh my God. Look. I know people love physical media, and it took me a little bit to adapt away from physical media, but now that I fully have, physical media is stupid. All right, we got Food Chain. This is one of the big reasons I wanted. Actually, so this is my first Food Chain. With all the Double Masters 2022 boxes I've opened for myself, I never pulled a Food Chain for myself. And I kept looking at buying one. The price just kept dropping. I just kept waiting. And then they announced a secret layer finally, and I was like, oh, well, there we go, got a Food Chain. And this particular, the way they did a secret layer, it's legible. Special rental $3. Oh, they even nailed the little sticky tags. That's cool. Watch now though, the next Double Masters 2022 box I open, I'm gonna get like 2 of them. Rampant Growth, which of course is a card most of us play with in some way, shape, or form, and that is a cool treatment. And then, of course, the big one, the first Sliver. That's awesome. It's like straight out of a sci-fi movie. That's cool. 3-day rental. 3-day rental. So it's past new release. That's what that means. So it went into 3-day rental. And the Belligerent Sliver. Yeah, at least that one's, whatever. Give him menace. The Sliver thing, I personally hate it, but I also kind of understand it because they're kind of putting out, a little bit different versions of Sliver cards, and people love Slivers and blah blah blah. So I get it. Personally, it's not what I want to open in my secret card, but that's right. So this one is the Party Hard but Shred Harder Part 2, or Keep Partying Hard, Shred Harder than you previously thought possible. This Tevez is impossible to read, but is awesome. That is so freaking metal. Seriously, that is so cool. This one, I'll probably never play with this particular one, because it's hard to read. But I wanted that one. So these are the two. So this one and the one I just opened were the two I did want, and I was good with the Bugging Out one. Okay, Godo. That is so awesome. That is so awesome. Yeah, that's straight up album cover stuff. Jeskai. Or Jessica. Sorry, not Jeskai. Jessica, Thrice Reborn. And what was it? I forgot what the next card was. Oh yeah, Vile Smasher the Fierce. That's right. Had the little partner thing on there. He's clearly in a prog metal band. Okay. And Sliver? Hey. Our second Magma Sliver. Freaking Slivers. Anyway. Some people like that. That's cool. On other subjects. So obviously we got Ixalan coming out. And there's a couple things I want to talk about. So you can turn off the video now. I probably won't talk more than 4 or 5 minutes, but they announced a lot of Ixalan and some of the neat things that they're doing. And obviously they're going to have a slot. Well, so Cavern of Souls looks like it's part of the actual set, right? So Cavern of Souls is going to be in Standard, which is interesting. So it's kind of going the route of Liliana of the Veil. Yet Cavern of Souls is still highly playable in today's many formats. Versus Liliana, which kind of lost its power over time. Cavern of Souls is still awesome. And it's going to be in Standard for the first time in a real long time. So that's fun. Then Mana Crypt, and I guess I haven't fully understood this yet. Is that like a special insert set? And are they going to do more things? But are they not going to do it like a 1 per pack thing, like like the other insert sets they've done? Or are they going to go more toward the Masterpiece only, but not quite there? It's interesting, right? Or are they just doing Mana Crypts? I guess they didn't really fully explain that, or if they did, I didn't see that. So if you have the correction for that, please let me know down below. I know this is going to air a few days after I filmed it. And I will probably go back to playing Starfield after this and forget to look, admittedly, because Starfield is every single sci-fi trope all wrapped up into one video game. It's Star Trek. It's Star Wars minus the Jedi. It's Aliens. It's Dune in parts. It's kind of got all those things all wrapped up, right? Yeah, it's got a lot of dumb side quests and it's got bugs galore, but it's fantastic. Anyway, getting back to the point. So they're going to do that, and then it looks like they're going to do several other different types of treatment things. Okay, so Lost Caverns of Ixalan, all right, this might be decent, but the thing I really want to talk about is what comes out after that. Well, I guess first Lord of the Rings. So they're going to do the Lord of the Rings Holiday Editions, which is actually going to have some new cards in there. And they went crazy with the treatments in the next release. And at first I was like, okay, we'll see about the holiday bundles, even if they do some different artwork. Like I'm not going to really open much of that. I've already opened more Lord of the Rings than I even thought I would for like the rest of the year. I already did it. And I'm seeing some of these things. I'm like, okay, I kind of want to open some. Actually, looks pretty cool. And some of the new cards are actually pretty neat. I'd like to get some of those. So we'll see about that. But then after that, we've got the big one, and I know I try to be in the middle on things. I try not to get too extreme, which some people like and some people don't like. Some people want people to be outrageous and extreme and the world is burning down around us and blah, blah, blah. And I'm not that person. I try to look at sides of things. And I do that on purpose. I think I do that in all areas of my life. I'm always trying to look at the whole picture and not just a tunnel vision shot. I am seriously concerned about Ravnica Remastered. I think it's the first time I've said, like, obviously I made that one video just destroying M30 because that was a giant lost opportunity. I think everybody agrees on that. I don't know. There's a very small subsect of the Magic community that loves Magic 30. You know what? Good for you guys. I'm glad that they have a product for you. For everybody else, I hate to put it this way, but actually plays the game, and that's unfair. That's unfair of me to say. That's assuming that they don't. And that's not fair to say. That's completely unfair. But nonetheless, all right, that product was a giant missed opportunity. Well, the second they announced Ravnica Remastered, I think all of us kind of looked at it like, what are you going to put in there exactly? Like that. If there's any sets that you've already printed like crazy, due to the sheer number of reprints of the boxes, like take the Return to Ravnica block, right? How many times did they reprint Return to Ravnica? You can still buy boxes for like $125. It's been a decade. God damn, it's been like I was out of Magic when that came. It's been like a decade now, right? I gotta look at when the release date was, but yeah, it was like a decade. So it's been a decade, and you can still just get a box for $125. Original Rev. At this point, you've printed pretty much everything, or just about everything, or the cards just don't see play anymore anyway, so there's no reason to go back to it, except for a very small handful of cards. And then even that small handful of cards, maybe it did have one printing in like a master set, but it only ever saw one printing in a master set. Muddle the Mixture comes to mind on that. What are you going to put in this set? And there are things to pull from. There are. But some of these things are already things you've been printing a lot. And some of them maybe perhaps need to be. Like Double-In Season for a while there. Okay, let's just call spade a spade here. When Double-In Season hit $100 a card, it's too damn high. It's too damn high. Right? It's just for a modern day Magic card, that was too damn high. Especially for one that gets the play that it gets. It's too damn high. So, they put it in Commander Masters. Yeah, that makes complete sense. It's a giant Commander card. It makes complete sense for it to be in that set. Then you put it on, then you put it in the Enchanted Tales, which are awesome treatments. And the card has mostly withstood it, right? It's because it's Double-In Season. It's a card that there are people now who are happy to go get a copy that can get one for $40 and never even considered it because they weren't going to pay $80, $90, $100 for a card. Or they didn't think that card was worth that, right? Because it kind of isn't. It's still $5 to put in a play, and it doesn't actually do anything until you do other stuff. And, well, I guess that's the case for most enchantments. But so you have that, but then we look down the list, like Extraplanar Land. No, that was in Meriden. Yeah, that was in Meriden. Okay, so what? Oh my God. So when you're gonna start going down the list, you got Psych Rift. I know there's another Rav block hitter, original Rav block. But if we look at, so what do you got? Oh my God, I should have pulled some of that up before I did this video. I did not do that. Some of the original Rav block stuff. There's only a few that haven't seen a crazy amount of reprints. um, and still carry a tad bit of monetary value. But overall, okay. All right, so what are you going to get excited for? Guardian Project. Some other Entithe again, because that's in the same boat as Double in Season. Cyclonic Rift, that just got a large reprint, which is amazing because then it just got to $30 again. Cyclonic Rift recovered ridiculously fast. That's incredible. I know it was approaching 40 before the reprint. It was like in the 30, mid to high 30s, depending on any given moment. But Cyc Rift now is immediately recovering. So yeah, I'm sure you'll have Cyc Rift in there. And then you'll have some other random cards. I hope they have Protein Hulk in there. I would like to see that. That's a card they haven't reprinted in... Oh, Secret Lair. Yeah. So they had the original and then they had the Secret Lair. I think that's it. That's all they ever did with Protein Hulk. And then, of course, you've got the big things, which are the Shocklands. It is sweet that they are doing old bordered and borderless Shocklands. And as one particular person, he's part of the Patreon, whatever, blah, 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 he stated, he's like, I actually look forward to the fact that also with these special treatments, I'm going to be able to get a bunch of regular border Shocklands for cheap. It's going to be fantastic. I'm actually going to be able to put Shocklands in my decks without thinking about it. And that's kind of cool, though, when you stop and think about it on that particular end. And then the old borders are going to be the big ones. The borderlesses, of course, will go big for people like that, like me. So, Lord knows I'm going to pick up the borderless ones. But then there's the kicker and kind of the point of this whole thing. They're doing anime cards again in Ravnica. I sometimes like those treatments, sure. Most of the ones they did, for instance, the Enchanted Tales are really cool, most of them. It's people stop caring when you keep doing the same thing over and over again. There's only been a few things that have kind of proven to stand the test of time. And that's old borders and kind of borderless. Borderless has perpetually been okay. It's always perpetually been a little bit more expensive than the regular card, as long as it's not Arietta, the Charmed Apple, in which people actually hate that borderless treatment. But for the most part, outside of a few examples, the borderless ones tend to be relatively sought after, right? Relatively. Not way sought after, because in the end, there's still truth that people often, a lot of people, not all people, sometimes want just the cheapest version of the card. They just want to get the card so they can put it in the deck. If the borderless one was cheapest, they would take that. They would gladly take that. But outside of that, they some people they're going to go for the cheapest card. And there's other people who are like, I'm going to go for the coolest card, right? And there's some people like, I'm going to go for the coolest card, but I don't want to spend a lot of money. So that's the difference between your foil and non-foil. But you're going to do an anime treatment again? Let it rest for a while. Make it special. If you don't allow it to pause and get some distance in between times doing it, people stop caring, for the love of God. I wouldn't think this would be that hard to understand. And this is really where my problem is with this whole thing. It's already Rav Remastered. I hope they don't plan on charging $200 a box for this. This set is going to collapse and burn faster than any other set I've ever seen. Even faster than Commander Masters. Because that was still a really good product, just people can't do the price point right now. The price point was pushed too high, right? It was still a great product, but this won't necessarily be a great product outside of drafting. It's not going to have any value in it. So, are you going to charge more like $125 a box? Yeah, I think then it'll do mediocre, at best. As in, it's okay that you released it, but it's not going to light anybody on fire at that price point. And that's kind of a question in the end, now that I've gone way past 4 to 5 minutes that I was going to talk. What is the right price point? Should it be $100 to $130 a box? Even $130, you can theoretically call it a premium set and you get a bunch of Shocklands. Fine, I can accept it. But what was the original Time Spiral Remastered they released? I believe at 150. I believe that was the release price, the rough average that they were charging for it at different LGSs at release, until people realized that they didn't make a whole ton of it, and then it kind of went crazy. Then Dominaria Remastered, they clearly went the other way around, and they printed more than they ever can deal with, ever. Well, not ever, but Dominaria Remastered is going to be in that same boat as Return to Ravnica. 10 years from now, the box is going to be the same price. Doesn't mean it's a terrible set, but it's they overprinted it, and it was already going to be tough to carry a $200 price tag for what you put in there for a draft box. Considering that was no better than, in fact, I guess you could probably say it was actually worse than OG Commander Masters. Oh, Commander Legends, sorry. At the very least on par, right? At the very least. So, yeah. Wizards, are you going to be trying to charge us like premium set prices for Ravnica Remastered? Are you going to make anime cards become something that then all of a sudden nobody cares about anymore, and then you're just going to try the next thing? Why don't you like rotate things once a year? Like, just give us like some anime cards once a year. And then they feel specialer. Even though every time you do it after the first, they feel less special. But at least then it won't wear it out. Because unless it's old border or borderless, it is not proving to hold up at all. Extended arts are a very good example of that. Just kind of funny, because if I need to buy a card and there's an extended art version, I often see that's like the same exact price, and I'm like, fine, I'll take the extended art. It's the same price. I'll take it. It's fine. It's okay. It's fine. It's not special. It's not special about it. And that's because they did it with every single freaking set. Right? Became not special very quickly. Anime cards can do the same thing. Then there's people out there who just flat out dislike the anime cards. So those people are going to look at it and be like, I'm not playing Weiss Schwartz. What is this? I'm playing Magic the Gathering over here. What am I doing with my life? Well, that's a question we should ask ourselves anyway. But here and there. Just some thoughts, and I implore everybody, please share your thoughts about the upcoming Rav Remastered. I have no idea what they're going to put in there. If they try to charge a remastered price point, this is going to be the biggest flop they've ever released. I'm going to call it now, and I'm going to be super negative about it. Am I going to end up opening some on the channel? Of course. I hate to ask that question and answer it myself, but yes, of course I'm going to. I have the freaking channel, for God's sakes. But it's going to be minimal. It's going to be minimal. It is not going to be like a month's worth of content. I am not, as much as Rav, or OG Rav, is one of my favorite periods in MTG history, I am not thrilled for this product. And I would think that I would be one of the target audiences. And I am not thrilled. I guess it would be better, though, if they don't do a master set this year. I guess as long as they don't do a master set, it's fine, huh? Is it? Is it fine? You can't do too many premium sets in a year, though. That part's been 100% proven. Commander Masters was the end-all, be-all showcase of what exactly takes place. Can't do too many premium sets. You especially can't do back-to-back premium sets. You especially can't do back-to-back premium sets in a down economy. I believe I did say that before Commander Masters came out. I'm like, the one thing though that I don't know how it's going to play is that these are super expensive boxes right after you released another premium set that was super popular in Lord of the Rings, and you can't have both, right? So we'll see what happens. And of course, what happened was Commander Masters got hit in the face. And I'm not surprised by it. As much as I adore how they built that set, I think it's an amazing product, I'm not surprised at all. So yeah, that's about right, because people only have so much money, Wizards. And I know you're part of a publicly traded company. It's all about generating more profits than the previous year, so we increase stock prices, and a lot of your higher-ups inside of these companies, a big part of their pay is actually paid through equity, so it matters to them on their actually own personal paycheck more so than their salary. How they drive their, basically the company revenue and bottom line. Got to drive both those things. Wall Street cares way more about revenue than they should. It always kind of blows me away. It's like, how profitable is the company? Shouldn't that be more important than revenue? Revenue doesn't, like, anybody can make revenue. People just go out of business quickly. If you don't make profits are important. So I think this might. I think. Okay, this is gonna be my. Oh my god, I'm at 25 minutes. This is gonna be my thing. I think Rav Remastered is gonna go down as the biggest flop since. Like, I want to say Fallen Empires, but there has to be another set that was a bigger flop in between. It's going to go down at least over the last, let's just call it 10 years. I think that's safe to say. It's going to be the darkest release in Magic history. And I mean darkest, actual real release. I don't count M30 as a real release. That was its own thing. But this is going to be the darkest regular release in Magic in the last 10 years. People are going to hate it. Cards are not going to sell well. There's going to be no value in those boxes. Shocklands will collapse. I can't believe I'm saying, like, again, this isn't me, right? This isn't something I usually say. When I mean collapse, I mean go down to like some like Stomping Ground. It'd be like $5. That's what I mean. Like, you're gonna pick up Stomping Grounds for $5. Some people just get really excited at that thought, and you should. And the boxes are going to sell terribly, and I really hope LGSs aren't forced into buying a lot of it. And I really hope most of them look at it for what it is and say, you know what, I'm just going to take one case worth, and that's it. If they're allowed to. And that's the problem, is because then distributors try to strong arm them into taking more, because otherwise they won't sell you the next thing that actually is popular, which is actually why the whole system's broken. It's not because of Wizards, it's because of distributors. If Wizards sold direct, that's what you see on Amazon. And they would, over time, have to move product, and they would actually then charge less to them to get it. Yeah. There's diminishing returns on such things, so on the books, right? So you gotta get it off the books. Working with a distributor in a way allows them to do it right away. So I guess that is the positive for Wizards to do that. Is with a distributor, it does allow them to sell it, and that's what they do. They sell it to the distributor, and then a whole bunch of it's off the books, like it's done. So I know some people have made those comments because I don't think they get it when they're like, "How is that set successful?" Blah blah blah. It was successful because all the distributors bought it, and that's in the end all they care about, because then they got paid. And that's the distributor's problem. That's how that works. So distributors buy it, then distributors resell it again. They make their cut. That means then your LGS has to buy it for an even higher rate than Wizards was actually selling it direct for to the distributors for some reason, because they don't sound like they don't have a department to handle direct sales, which is why they didn't have their Amazon store, so that way they can just work through that to sell things direct, and Amazon takes care of all the logistics from there. It's actually really smart. It's actually really, really smart. It's actually kind of it's terrible for LGSs, but like it's the way. It's so smart, because then you let them take care of all that. You don't have to create your own department and get it all set. You can just have Amazon take care of it for you. It's super smart. And then you're actually then also collecting more direct money versus having to sell it for distributors for a certain price, so that way then they can make their profit by selling it to the stores and so on and so forth, right? As far as Wizards concerned and Hasbro's concerned, direct to customers, the way. It's the way. But there is that counterpoint. God, I'm getting so off track here. There is that counterpoint that without LGSs, the game shrinks, right? It doesn't necessarily die, but it shrinks, because LGSs, obviously you create the local relationships with the actual plane and events and blah blah blah, right? So you have to take care of LGS. You need them. You have to have them. It is not you need a place that cares about this product and drives play. That drives sales. So you can't just do nothing but direct. But at the same time, the whole distributorship's a problem. I really hope, and I'm going to be looking forward to a couple of different channels that do talk about these kind of things when we get closer toward the Rav Remastered time. I'm going to be interested to see what they have to say and what they say about their orders and if they were allowed to get less, because I'm sure some of them are going to get less. I know one of them particularly, I'd be shocked if that particular channel was like, yeah, I'm going to buy as little as possible. Because that person tends to keep the pulse on things and tends to have a pretty good idea. So yeah, and then there's going to be all these other LGSs that are going to go hard, and they're going to get crushed. Because this is going to be the worst release ever, at least in the last 10 years. Give me your thoughts below. Lively conversation. I don't want it just to be a bash down everything effect, because you have to look at all the different levels of why these things are happening. But are you excited for Return to Rav? Or Rav Remastered? Did you play during original Rav block and this just sounds like it's just going to be the greatest thing ever? Or no? Or are we just looking at this, or are we kind of more collective right now as an entire community of, this isn't a great idea. This is not that it's necessarily got things we don't want, but overall, it's a terrible idea. I don't know. I'm going to end the video now because I just ranted for like 25 minutes.